This week's Torah portion, Ha'azinu, we are again with Rabbi Rephael Birdugo from Morocco. His commentary is a majestic commentary on the Bible. It could probably be compared to Rashi and Ramban's commentary in that it is meant for the masses, but it is incredibly rich and deep. Even, he won't mention Kabbalah, but when there's something that has to do with Kabbalah, he'll give each and every one of us the important meaning for a Jew's soul, for the day-to-day, what we need, but he'll add in a line and say, look here, the Kabbalists, in this book, explained, elaborated on the secret. But I'm not going to get into it because I'm going to get into, the kishka, what we need, us simple folk. And in this week's Torah portion, he has something beautiful to tell us about, the song. What's Moses' song? Ha'azinu, the whole commentary of Rabbi Rephael is all about having faith in God, about studying Torah, and what a Jew needs to do. And we're going to bring one verse to show this. Zechol yemot olam binu shnot dor vador sh'al avicha vayegedech zkenecha v'yomru lach. So we need to remember the years of old and remember the days of old and understand the years of generation after generation. And we're meant to ask our elders, and they'll explain to us. The first question Rabbi Rephael has to ask us is, why does the verse begin with, we need to remember the days of old, right? Remembrance. And then when we talk about understanding the years of generation after generation, why at first are we told to remember, and then we're told to understand? Why at first are we told about the days, and then it becomes understanding the years of generation after generation? And what is it that our elders, that our fathers have to teach us about this? He says, we live in the exile, right? At the time he's living, and even today many Jews, and even, we're living in the exile. And in the exile, in our days, a Jew can look at a non-Jew and say, what's the difference between us? I don't see hashgacha pratit. I don't really see divine providence in every day. In fact, one could ask, what's the point of being a Jew? Where is God? And he says, this is what this verse is talking about. He says, remember the days of old. You need to remember, and this is what you're going to ask your fathers and wise people, your parents, and they're going to explain to you, because only they know, because they remember because their parents told them and their parents told them. A Masorah, tradition. We need to remember that this wasn't always the case. God used to have miracle upon miracle every single day, taking us out of Egypt, the pillar of fire, the cloud, the man. There used to be a time where every single day God performed a miracle. We need to remember that. That's what we need to remember. This is what we ask our parents. And then understand, this is so beautiful, understand the years, generation after generation, bina. You need to understand that something happened to God's divine providence. It became newfangled, it changed. It did not disappear. When you look at yourself and a non-Jew, don't think chas v'chalila that there is no divine providence, but you need to understand that once miracles were performed, day by day. That's why we need to remember what happened once, in the way that only Jews perhaps can remember, because how can you remember something when you weren't there? You need to remember that miracles happened once, day by day. And then you need to understand that those miracles changed. And then there was a time where they happened once a year. Right? Understand the years of generation. Suddenly bringing us into the land of Israel, the high holidays. And then it became what it became nowadays, where miracles still appear every single day, but they're embedded into nature. And this is why he says binu. The verse says we need to understand, because we need to understand through our seichel, through our hearts, through the help of our parents, to understand how we can see God's miracles in nature, how we can see when a woman gives birth that it's a miracle, that the sun rises every day, that it's a miracle, a bird chirping, it's a miracle. Thoughts on the Torah portion of Ha'azinu from Rabbi Rephael, how to see God's divine providence even today. Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova, Gmar Chatima Tova.